We're going to look at some props from tonight's Thursday night game, Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. It looks like the weather can be a little nasty. Let's look at the forecast for this game. Tonight, Steelers at Browns, snowy. Temperature 34 degrees, 81% chance of snow. Snow showers, cold temperatures are expected. Light to moderate winds will blow diagonally across the field. And I think the props are indicating that a little bit also. So if we look at the passing yards for Russell Wilson, we got a line of 184, projection of 196. As you can see, he's went over 184.5 in 8 straight games. Even with Winston, projection, the line is 217, projection of 231 by PROPS.CASH. He's went over this line for 3 straight games. Let's look at Wilson a little closer. Yeah, Wilson 205 last game in a tough game against Baltimore, where I didn't even think he had 205 passing yards, but he did. I think the weather will have a little play into this tonight. As you can see down here at the other books, we have at Fanatics, the prop is 190.5, Caesars 187, FanDuel 186, DraftKings 184.5, and BetMGM 176.5. I do kind of like that 176.5. I like that over on 176.5 at BetMGM. But I think this could be a tough prop to decide which way we're going to go on this one tonight. I think it does depend on the weather a lot. Cleveland's defense isn't that great. We'll see what, I would think they're going to keep it on the ground more with Warren and their other back. I would think they're going to keep it on the ground more. Let's look at Winston. One thing we know, Winston's going to put it in the air. Last 3 games, he's went over 216. He's going to put it in the air. I mean, I kind of like Winston to still go over 216.5, even with the weather. I still kind of like it. But what I like about Mr. Winston is over the 0.5 interceptions. I think we see an interception from Mr. Winston tonight. See, he's a pretty heavy favorite everywhere to go over that. Caesars, underdog, BetMGM. I think we see a pick from. I think we see an interception from Winston tonight. Not sure if it's worth making that bet at minus 210, minus 224, minus 301 on underdog. Not sure about that, but you can probably put this in with another pick that you like in a parlay. I like Winston to throw at least one pick tonight. Let's look at some running back props. First back we're going to look at rushing yards. We're going to look at Najee Harris, Pittsburgh, line 66.5. Props.CASH projection 74.94. Pretty big difference here. It's a Thursday game. Pittsburgh is coming off a real tough physical Sunday game. Najee had 53 rushing yards in that game against against Baltimore. Let's look at all games. Yeah, he had 63 yards in that game against Baltimore. So coming back on a Thursday night, let's see. Let's look at his away numbers for the year. Away. Let's take this. Away. He's went over 3 out of 5 games. Head to head versus Cleveland. In the last 2 games against Cleveland, he has 56 and 35. And let's take away the filter. Yeah, last 2 games, 53 and 35 against Cleveland. As you can see, for the year 2024, 60% of the time he's went over 66.5. Let's look at the lines out here a little bit. Caesars, decent favorite, 69.5. Most of the books got it at 69.5. You can see DraftKings got it at 67.5. FanDuel 66.5. Fanatics 65.5. So around minus 125, on the average, at 67.5 over on DraftKings to go over. Thursday night game, to me, after a physical game coming back like that, we'll see. Maybe he can break off a big run, and we do have to factor in the weather too. But we also have to factor in the fact that Jaylen Warren is going to get his touches also. Jaylen Warren, as you can see, is projected to go under his line of 36.5. Let's look at Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is coming back from injury this year. His line is 52.5. Projection 59.75 over here on PROPS.CASH. It's a pretty big difference between the line and the PROPS.CASH projection. Chubb in his last game had 50 yards. And in his 2024, he hasn't went over 52.5. Let's just say it like that. BetMGM got the line at 53.5. Small favorite to go over. Along with Caesars, 53.5. They got him at minus 133 to go over. DraftKings got him at 52.5. And you can see it's even both ways. FanDuel got him at 52.5. Minus 113 for the over and the under. And so you can see the lines and see how the lines are kind of playing out. 52.5. Does Chubb hit that tonight after a Sunday game coming off injury where the weather may not be that great? Props.CASH likes the over. I'm not too sure about the over tonight. Head to head, one of the reasons I think you're seeing Props.CASH like the over on this is that in his last 5 games, head to head against Pittsburgh, he has went over, but this was before injury. And again, this game is on a Thursday night. So something to look at with the running backs. Just remember to factor in the weather if you're taking these overs. I think it's going to be real grinding out type of game, the kind of game we're used to seeing between Pittsburgh and Cleveland. So I think the backs will be involved a lot. Just are they going to get the kind of production out of the backs that you feel you should be getting? For the receivers, I'm only looking at one guy, and that's George Pickens. Really the only big play threat between the two teams. I know Jerry Jeudy had a big week last week. Don't get too caught up in that. But he still may go over 45.5 yards receiving. Coach James is going to give him a chance. But let's look at George Pickens. Line 58.5. Projection by Props.CASH of 84.44. He's went over 58.5 in 4 straight games. That means the 4 games since Russell Wilson's been starting. 111, 74, 91, 89. In the weather versus Cleveland versus a bad secondary. This is the guy that Russell targets when he goes deep. Russell throws a good deep ball. He likes to throw deep. And this is the guy that he throws to. As you can see, this season, 60% of the time, he's went over 59.5. Head-to-head, over the last couple years, he's done this 2 times out of 4, so that's 50%. And let's just look at the lines, how they're shaping up. 16.5 over here on Caesars. DraftKings 59.5, Underdog 59.5, FanDuel 58.5. So everybody's right around the same. 58.5 over here on FanDuel. I'm taking the over. I'm taking the over on 59.5. I think Pickens and Russ have one good link up tonight. He's been targeted anywhere between, you can see about 7.7 on average for the season. Last game against Baltimore, he was targeted 12 times. He's had 8 receptions, 5, 4, and 5 in the games that Russ has played. I expect that again tonight. You know, his reception long in the last game was 37. Game prior to that, 34, 43, 44. So in every game that he's played with Russell, he's had a reception long of at least 34. You know, this is the guy. This is Russ's deep guy. This is what Pickens does. He stretches the field. So I like Pickens to go over 59.5. Doesn't drop the ball either. He catches anything thrown his way.